What's going on, everybody? My name is Cody, and it's been quite a while since I've done a video, and I apologize for that. It's been pretty hectic with me. I've got this job where I do stuff with HP and all that kind of stuff, which, I never thought I'd be doing that. But on top of that, in case you guys didn't know, I shot a video about this months ago, but I have a kid now, so I also have that to worry about. Anyway, I figured because I sell computers and stuff now as well, as my regular day job, excuse me, I would take a minute or however long it's going to take to explain a few things. Like I started having a revelation not too long ago where people had asked me why they should get this computer over this computer and why, and I'd have to come up with some kind of compelling reason. And being a computer builder myself, I thought about it. If you remember a while back, if you've been subscribed to me for very long, I did a video where I converted my old computer that had a AMD FX8350 processor in it over to an Intel 4770K and then eventually to the 4790K, and how it burnt over 200 watts less power from the wall just sitting there. Like, the 8350 was sucking almost 300 watts of power in the entire system, just sitting there doing nothing. I could just be on Facebook and not doing anything else, and it'd be sucking 350 watts of power just sitting there. And then if I cranked it up to play Skyrim or anything like that, which there's some Skyrim in the background, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but 350 watts of power just from the wall. And then I switched over to the Intel build, and I was sucking about 120 watts, I think, out of the wall. And then I went up to like 360 at max power running a benchmark. And then I overclocked and still was under 400, so my 750 watt power supply was useless at that point. Which led to another video where I replaced the power supply with a 500 something watt Corsair instead of my old OCZ. My buddy JC actually got that one, and then the power supply finally died. But point being, the point of this video is how to know what to expect from your computer. Like, how do you know what life expectancy you can get? Like, someone will say, oh, this computer's crap, this Dell is crap, this Lenovo is crap, it's too hot, it dies very quickly on battery, it sucks. HP has that problem, Compaq, Lenovo, Dell, Alienware, especially Alienware. I can cover that one for days and explain to you why. The factors that go into battery life, hardware life, and things like that. Name of the game, if you want your computer to have a lot of power and last a long time, you need to go with Intel. Right now, anyway, you need to go with Intel. AMD has their Ryzen architecture right now, which it's getting there, but it's not there yet. Especially in a laptop, Intel all day long. Their battery life is a lot longer. And this isn't me just, yanking the shaft on Intel. This is actual science. Power level is a lot. It is. And if you see me doing this, it's because I'm actually doing part of my job right now, and I apologize for the delays. But yeah, so you'll notice the MacBooks and stuff, they don't run AMD processor. I don't think any of them do. They either run the PowerPC architecture, which I don't think any of them do anymore, and they run Intel. And that tells you something, because Apple wants everyone to buy the premier product, even though you guys know what my stance on Apple is at this point. Like, if they just lowered their price, just anything, just lower it, just stop charging $2,000 for something that a $1,500 Lenovo would completely crap all over, especially if you put OS X on there. You could put Yosemite or whatever, the newest one, on there, and the Lenovo would crap all over that $2,000 MacBook Pro. I'm sorry, like, even a $500 laptop would destroy a Mac Pro if you made it into a Hackintosh. I could do a video on it, I would prove it, and I would show you all the benchmarks. It would destroy the MacBook. If I had one in my possession, I would totally do it. So, back to the point, how to know the life expectancy of your hardware. Number one factor, heat is your enemy. The more heat that you generate, the more your computer has to struggle to cool itself down, which increases fan speed, which wears out your fans. The heat degrades processor chips, so your graphics chip, your hardware, your processor, your motherboard, all that kind of stuff is going to be seriously hampered because of that heat, because then your system's going to thermal throttle, slowing down your multi-core processor. AMD is known for thermal throttling at this point. Like, oh my god, my 8350 almost never ran at full capacity. Even on water cooling, I was running like 15-20 degrees Celsius hotter on a water-cooled system, even with an air conditioner unit blowing onto it. It was 20 degrees hotter on average than my Intel processor, and I've since gone up to a 7th or 6th generation, so I've got 2 whole generations to jump up, and my thermals, I don't even really need fans to cool my system down. Passively cooling it with a water cooling system, just up there blasting the AC vent down onto my coolant system, is enough to keep it cool. Like, I never see thermal throttling unless there's something wrong with me seating the CPU, and that's just thermal paste and done. I had that not too long ago, and then I fixed it, and it was great. Like, I had a 20-degree drop instead of thermal throttling and shutting down. But that was my fault because I had just rebuilt the loop, and I was distracted kid, and you know, I didn't put enough pace, and I fixed it. But so the heat is the first enemy, and then the more inefficient your system is, the older the hardware, the more power it's going to need to function because of the processes that make the die process. And older processors makes the processors bigger, which means they have more requirements for energy draw. So that turns out to be more wattage, which generates more heat. Wattage is heat. Any energy left over becomes heat. So there's more heat, there's more current going through the system, so you already got the heat degrading the system, the extra current, which is also degrading the system because it's burning it out more gradually. And then you also have just the simple fact that it's not as efficient. AMD, their flagship processors, the 8350, for like 5 years, and I had one, but it was like 4 or 5 years. And Ryzen finally outclassed the 8350, and that's when we started getting, you know, like the 8380 or whatever it was that had a water cooling block built into it, because AMD knew it was going to get too hot. In fact, most graphics cards that have water blocks attached to them and pumps and everything, they're AMD parts. Think about that. Like the R9 Fury and all that stuff had water blocks. So they knew that the heat was the problem, and then you have to spend extra money to cool the system down. So when you go to buy an AMD laptop, especially if it doesn't have Ryzen, you're spending extra money buying a cooling plate to put on there, you know, to keep it cool so it doesn't set your lap on fire. You're going to be seeing like rapid degradation in hardware. The hard drive will fail more often. The SSD is going to slow down a lot quicker because, you know, thermal exchange will slow anything down because a machine can't get hot or else it starts slowing down to preserve itself. And on average, an Intel machine will outlive an AMD machine. Not throwing off on people with AMD because, you know, that's for people with a budget. I started out with a budget, and I just gradually upgraded over time, and, you know, that's one way to go. So I can't tell you guys not to get it. It's more I'm trying to help. As a professional, you guys have seen my builds. You've seen me do the Dell laptop video. Can it game? Yes, it can. I replaced it with a Lenovo that's right here, and I will do a video on that pretty soon because it actually does have an integrated graphics processor, so it can run everything. Everything I normally would run, except for Space Engineers. That's kind of but Skyrim, it runs perfect. Final Fantasy will completely shit on Final Fantasy. It will do everything I need it to do, and that's what I'm saying. Point being, the price premium of an Intel or whatever, you have to remember with computers you get what you pay for, and I would rather drop $200 more on a system knowing that it's got higher quality parts. Like, I don't care about backlit keyboards. That's the most common thing I get asked for. Does this have backlit keyboards? Yeah, the $500-600 computer does. Why has it got to be $500-600? Because that's a premium function. Touchscreen. Do you really need touchscreen? Think about it. How often do you use a touchscreen on anything that isn't a smartphone? On my triple screen system, that'd be perfect, because then I just reach around and do all this number, and I could hit anything because I have my entire wingspan, as it were, to just touch stuff and just move it around. But I don't do it because touchscreens aren't my thing. My phone has one, and you know, most of the time I don't even use my phone. Like, I use my phone when I go to the bathroom and if I have a phone call. So that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. So I thank you for staying until the end if you did, and I appreciate you guys for being patient with me not coming back for a while. I've got to finish editing Shadow Man. It's been 3 years since I recorded all that stuff, and I still haven't finished uploading it. And you know, I do that one more for me because I know most people don't follow Shadow Man. But anyway, guys, I thank you for watching until the end. I appreciate you guys for subscribing to me. Be sure to do the liking, if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, leave comments. Let's get the ball rolling. I want to hear you guys talk about your configurations, what you prefer, AMD, Intel, or PowerPC architecture, any kind of suggestions for future stuff. I got some more Vocaloid stuff coming out. Because of the YouTube ad apocalypse, I do have a Patreon account if you guys want to be super helpful and help me out there. PayPal, all that kind of stuff, and you know, that's just a thing, and I'll use some of that to do one of my rip-off and reproduction Nintendo 64 videos. Like, if I get somebody that helps me get the cartridges, I'll be more than happy to tear them apart and explain why they are rip-offs and what to look for in a more thorough way than I did before. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.